Hey guys, it's Miss J. We are going to do an African mask today that's inspired by an artist by the name of Marcos Roma. And he really felt inspired as an artist to recreate his version of an African mask. So we're going to do that today together. I've got all the steps on this document for you, but I'm going to actually do this with you in case you have any questions, okay? So I'm going to start out by just doing a shape for my mask, and I don't have to do an oval. I could do a kind of a diamond shape or a square. I'm just going to kind of do this random oval shape. Now mine is a little bit smaller than yours will be, but I wanted to make sure it fit in the screen while I show you. So that's the first step, is you're just going to do that basic shape of your mask. Then I'm going to add a shape here that's going to become kind of the nose area, the bridge of the nose. That is up to you. You could do a square-ish sort of line. You could do an oval. I think I'm going to kind of do a combination maybe of both. And I'm going to make mine sort of like that. Now, you don't have to. I have another example. And here's a finished product that we're doing today, but you'll notice this one's really rounded. So it's up to you what you want to do. Okay, the next step is to section that off. So I'm actually going to come across and I'm going to create little sections. This is where we're going to get in there and do some texture. And you can also, on those sections, make a few of those lines a little bigger by just adding a little line underneath and thickening that up. That's a hard word. Okay, just like that. Okay, a little bit thicker. Then I'm going to come in there and I'm going to add that pattern or texture. Now, we've been talking a lot about pattern and texture, so we should all be really good to go on that. Things like little stripes. Okay, so I'm starting with some stripes, and I might do some scallops like that. I could do maybe some crisscross lines. I could mimic that shape and do rectangle and a rectangle. I could come back and do more stripes. It's hard to draw this sideways, but I'm really trying to show you kind of what I'm talking about. And then I could do maybe some dots in this one. Okay. And then maybe some like zigzags. And maybe the top one I'll just color in completely, just like that. Okay. There's your first step. Now your next step is going to be to create eyes, and you can again do these any way you want. So I could do, the eye shape that's pretty general. I could just do dots if I wanted to. I could do squares, but I think I'm just going to go kind of traditional, and I think I'm going to make them right here, and I'm going to just do sort of a shape like that, and then I can do my eyebrow or my eyelashes rather. And I can do some circles inside as well. Okay. And again, you have liberty to kind of do those eyes. However, I put a few examples on your document, so you're welcome to look at that as well. And I'm going to maybe just bring a little hoop down here just for fun. Okay. And then your next step is going to be to section off. Then we'll do the mouth first. We're going to do that mouth. We're going to do a long oval that way and then a long oval that way. And we kind of really just want those two prominent lips to be shown there. Now is when I'm going to do some sectioning off. And you can pause this video anytime if it starts to feel too fast, or you just want to stop and kind of work on your own pace. That's fine too. I'm just going to start sectioning some of these spaces off. I'm going to set this down so I can do that. And you can repeat the lines sort of symmetrically, which means I'm doing them on one side, I'm doing them in the same place on the other side to kind of create that dimension. Okay. I'm going to come back in and fill in some of those lines I did. So now I've got some sections like that. Okay. Now in those sections, you're going to add some more of your detail. Now you don't have to fill in every single one of those with, texture or pattern. You can just do some. So I might leave this section here blank and just do the ones over here and around. So again, I could do maybe some zigzaggy kind of pattern here and repeat that over here. I can do maybe some lines here I'm a fan of the lines because they're easy to do and they go rather quickly. Might do some again there. Maybe I'll just make this whole section down here those lines. It's almost like a beard. Okay, and then I don't know, maybe here I'll do some kind of swirly pattern. I don't know if I really like that on this mask, but so be it. All right, and I'm just kind of filling it in. Now, I think I want maybe one more section here. So I added one more section of lines, and then I'm going to do some dots, I think. Maybe it's like beard stubble. And then I think I'm going to actually color this section here in black. Okay. Your next step is going to be adding some detail shape around the outside. So once you've got your kind of basic face shape for your mask, you're going to add some things on the outside. I might do sort of this, it almost looks like flower petal shape, and I'm going to go all the way around with it on my mask. So I'm just going to follow my mask line, and that's going to give it a little bit more character all the way around. And again, I'm not really looking for perfection. I mean, not everything has to be perfect. It can be sort of organic or abstract in a way, but just like that. And then in those little details on the outside, I'm also going to add a little extra detail. So maybe I'll just do some like line stripes. Okay. Now we're going to add watercolor to our picture. So as you saw in this one, I did add a wet on wet watercolor, and I used red, yellow, and green. And that's representative of the African culture that we are inspired by today. Red represents actually bloodshed, which I know it sounds kind of, anytime we think about blood can be a little bit scary, but it's really saying that there was a lot of sacrifice. People from the African culture have been through a lot. Lives have been sacrificed. So that is a big component in the African culture that we are inspired by today as well. Green is the rich landscape that is in Africa and a lot of greenery. So just that thriving, rich land is why we're using green. And then yellow is really a color that represents hope and inspiration and equality. And so we want to show that as well. And yellow is always a really joyful, hopeful color. So anytime you're including that, just know that that representation is pretty much across the board. If you think of if you do any kind of like color research, red is typically an angry, hard color. Green typically means like new, spring, life, and then yellow is hopeful. So we are doing a wet on wet technique. So remember, we're going to wet that whole thing down. Okay, we're wetting our paper with water, and we probably won't get to this step today. We'll probably do this next week. But just as a reminder of that wet on wet technique, we are wetting the entire paper. And then we're adding in that color, and I'm going to go into my red. So my whole paper is wet. I'm going to go into that red. I'm going to add that, and you can add it in small spaces all over. You can do it bigger. That is completely up to you. Then I'm going to kind of go in with that yellow. And then I'm going to go in with my green. And I'm going to show this to you in just a second. And again, you can really just make this your own. Look at those links that I sent you on your document and the inspirations by Marcos Roma. And just have fun. And you can do these more and more. Just experiment. Try different styles. All right?